Hello everyone, welcome to Moe'S Culture Show and Tell, and we're going to just continue with Kmfdm. So this is kind of, in some ways, one of my favorite eras of Kmfdm. This here group of CDs I'm about to present is when I first started hearing Kmfdm way back when. This was the stuff I first started getting into. And we'll start off with this album here. And of course, it was from, and this is called Angst, of course. And and as you may notice during this era, there are a few exceptions, but you see that most of the titles are always kind of in 5 letters to kind of match the 5 letters of the KMFDM. You'll see the next 5 albums I'm going to show you, including this one here, it'll be 5 letters in the title. So this is Angst, and it starts off strong with Light, and then there's the video, the very first track that I ever heard of them. The thing that made me discover is seeing a drug against war on Much Music. That blew my mind. That was awesome. Then there's Blood, Evil Mix. Yeah, we'll come back to that later. That Blood Evil Mix. And why didn't put the album mix on there? The actual album one. It doesn't matter. We'll get to that. There's Lust, which is one of my favorite songs on here in some ways because it's all in German. You know that is it, it's almost always in English. But there may be one or two tracks on the album that might be in German or even a different language. It could be Italian, it could be French, as we'll get into when they come up. But yeah, there's I love Glory. Move On is good. No Peace is good. A Hole in the Wall is decent. Sucks is where they say, KMFDM sucks. That's like just like Primus has that, KMFDM has that too. KMFDM sucks. That's according to them. That I don't think they do. I think they're awesome, but they think they suck. So KMFDM sucks. And then of course The Problem. I think this is a very strong album. I love it. Again, it was a drug against war. That's what really got me into the band. Seeing that video and hearing that like, oh, it was so like it's so what I needed at the time. That driving, techno driven, like just go listen to that. Go watch that video. A drug against war. KMFDM is a drug against war. I love that. But then you get to the next album, and again, it's Naive. 5 letters in the title, KMFDM, and of course, I digitally remastered. As it always has to be as much as possible to digitally remastered. But this, it starts off with Welcome, Naive, Die Now, Live Later, Piggy Bank, Achtung, Friede, or however you pronounce that, Lebsled, Go to Hell, Virus, Disgust, Godlike, Go to Hell Again, different mixes, Virus, Godlike Again, Lebsled, Die Now, Live Later, different mixes of that. This is actually a really good album. I enjoy this. Yeah, there's some good stuff on that. I like to play it. I like to play this a little more often. It's a long album, and this format of album, most of them, pretty much almost all of them, not everyone. There are some exceptions, but they show you the total time of the albums in here, and if I'm not mistaken, they sometimes when they almost always include the lyrics. The lyrics, you need the lyrics, and we're gonna show you. There's Sasha and N8 and NH. as I was talking about a little bit in the previous. So yeah, you see how long the songs are, but sometimes I was expecting it in this one, but not always. Yeah, sometimes when you look at the inside with the lyrics and that, they'll show you the beats per minute of how many beats per minute is in the song, which is an interesting aspect. And of course, we should really admire that fine artwork by Brute. You know, just just for a moment, let's admire those two covers, and especially with the men groping the women in a weird way with and the orange, two 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 albums in a row he's using orange and a certain motif. Excuse me. I think that's really interesting. Now, when we come to this next album, unfortunately and fortunately, in many ways, it they weren't able to get the same artist for the next album. He for some reason, and this is the one exception, except for that first album, 1984, there that I began my previous episode with. It was all pretty much brute, but this they went with a different artist because they couldn't get him to do it, and it makes this album stand out. And and not just because of the album cover that it stands out. And again, look, it's five letters, like they go with the five letters of their title, KMFDM, which there's many interpretations of what that means. So you're gonna have to look it up for yourself, and you decide which meaning you think is the actual meaning for this. It could mean and don't ask me about the translation, but I heard it was for mock. No, how does that go? Kinder mock for ditch mare, kinder mock for ditch mare, which is something about music being the wisdom or something. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not German, so don't quote me on anything I may say about the German language at all. But again, this is at the time when this came out. This was my favorite KMFD album. From all that I had known previously of them. Because by the time this came out, I was already knowledgeable about KMFDM because of angst, because of a drug against war. So and this blew my mind. And Ultra, okay, the song that it starts with. Anybody who knows if they ever own the Ghost in the Shell DVD, not DVD, the Ghost in the Shell VHS growing up. When you had a VCR, if you still know what VCRs are, when you had a VCR and you had the VHS copy of Ghost in the Shell, the Japan anime, they had a little commercial kind of before the actual video where they would play pretty much almost all of Ultra with these really cool, going through all the titles of different anime. And I tell you that it was so perfect to get you pumped up for watching anime. You want to watch more anime because that trailer that showed all these different other little anime, including Ghost in the Shell and Akira and stuff. Yeah, they put that song as the track, And yeah, anytime I watched those Japan anime videos, you get to hear Ultra. But yeah, it starts with Ultra, which is probably one of my top favorite KMFDM songs. Among A Drug Against War. A Drug Against War is still probably again in my some of my favorite KMFDM songs. You know, it's in my top 10 for sure. And they're interchangeable. It's so hard sometimes. It depends on what album I'm listening to and my mood. You know, but then it goes with there's Juke Joint Jezebel, which is another super awesome strong song I love. There's a cool video for it and everything too. There's Flash, Bees, Terror. Then another one of my favorite songs on there is Search and Destroy. Oh, that's probably my third favorite song, Ultra, and then we'll get to my other favorite song. There's Obedience, Revolution, Brute. They called a song Brute, okay, dedicated to Brute, who did not do the cover of this album. I love that little touch. You know, they called it a song Brute on the one album. You know, once he started doing the album covers, the one album that he didn't do because he wasn't available, they named a song after him. The Brute. And then my favorite song, Trust. And not they called that little last track. It was at first a hidden track that was connected to Trust. They when you used to be able, because this is the digitally remastered one, right? They decided to separate them and put them as two separate tracks rather than all one track. So, you know, you can program that out and don't have to play it if you don't want to. You know, it's just kind of an extra little excerpt of Ultra or whatever. You know, but Trust, yeah. So Ultra, Search and Destroy, and Trust, the three excellent, awesome tracks. Not to take away from all the rest of the album. This is such a great thing to put on. It's probably the one I have played the most. I love it. Then now you get to Extort. See, another five letters in the title. I love that trend, and I wish they would continue to do that. Yeah, Extort, and oh yeah, this some awesome stuff. You know, you got Power, Apathy, Rules is good. Craze, Dogma, Inane, Blame, Son of a Gun is probably my favorite. Yeah, I think Rules and Son of a Gun are my two favorite on there for sure. Then Icons, Wrath, and a weird song called Fairy. But it's a great album. Let's admire that cover art for a moment there. Give the triumphant return of Brute back doing the album art again, as he will continue to do from now on. You'll see everything else here from here on in will be his album art, which is thank goodness. But just to reiterate again, the seeing a different art, and like and then everything else, Brute. Such a weird thing, it's just an outlier. But yeah, this is a great album too. Like I said, my two favorite on this is Rules and Son of a Gun. Although Power is probably a really close third. Yeah, oh yeah. Now this is called Symbols. And that's the title right here, which is five symbols. which basically represents the Kmfdm, 5 symbols for the 5 letters. And look at that cover. It's such a great artist, such a unique style. Yeah, I really like it. But then you start off with, and look at that. Every time I turn it over to show you the the titles, they're so big and clear and easy to understand. You know, I don't need no magnifying glass like I said in the last video. But start off with Megalomaniac, which is awesome. I love Stray Bullets, Lun Unleading. Oh yeah, that yeah, or Lun Elend. Excuse me if I ever butcher the German. Like I say, I'm not German, so I don't mean any offense whatsoever. I really like the German language. And as you've seen in my previous episode, I even own some albums. Like in one of my other episodes, my foreign language albums. I have albums that are in German, even if I don't understand too much of what they're saying. I still really like the sound of it. You know, I think it's a cool sounding language. So, and then there's Mercy, Torture, Spitspur, Anarchy, Down and Out, Unfit, and I really like Waste. The lyrics to Waste, I want to go into those one day. I really kind of agree with the sentiment of those lyrics. This is a cool album, and I've played it quite a few times. Yeah, it's a good one. So we're gonna call it for this episode. This is a little bit longer than my last episode, and I kind of figured it would be because it is more of the cooler era that I really loved. You know, getting into. And before actually going back and listening to that first, like those albums I said in the first episode, so we're just gonna close that up so we can get into the next episode. So again, everybody, be safe, take care. I will see you on the flip side. Have a good evening, day, night, wherever you may be, and have a good one, everyone.